Welcome back to America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys Formula and America's Medicare Associates with Scott Kerschner and Dave Ross. 419-794-3030 is the phone number. The website, arhq.com. Don't forget, if you missed the first half of the show or previous editions of the show and you want to catch up, all available via podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Just search for America's Retirement Headquarters. It's all there for you to consume at your leisure, at your pace. Another thing that you probably don't want to forget, guys, is Valentine's Day coming up this Wednesday. I think it's kind of hard to forget that. But as we celebrate Valentine's Day, an article in Forbes suggests that we use the holiday of love as a reminder of something that you may not have on the list beyond roses and chocolates and things like that: estate planning. It says putting a plan in place demonstrates how much you care about the people that you love. And if you already have a plan, well, it's a good time to take another look at it and update it. Guys, what kind of worries can a solid estate plan address, and how do you guys help with that?
Well, okay, so Dave, and even Chris, I'm going to ask you this too. I'm going to put you both on the spot. So if you come home Wednesday and you have, instead of a box of candy or a card, you say, hey, honey, guess what? I've got things all taken care of this year for Valentine's Day. We're going to settle our estate planning, get everything put in place. How do you think that's going to go over? Chris, what do you think your wife's going to say to that one?
I mean, quite frankly, because we've also got an 8-year-old in the house, he's not going to care anything about that. It has nothing to do with dinosaurs, and right. I don't think she's going to be too thrilled herself. So
yeah, exactly. But I will tell you, it is a way to show, love and appreciation, and the lack of preparing for this is very, very detrimental to a family, and can be. I guess the one thing that I want to start out with on this particular segment is, what exactly does an estate plan do? That's the big question. Why do people need it, right? Well, in order to determine whether you need one, is you have to know exactly what it's for. And an estate plan provides a roadmap so loved ones aren't left guessing what you want during your lifetime, right? I mean, it basically puts things in order for you, and kind of puts that roadmap together so you know exactly what's going on. So Nolan and I have, and we've talked about this many times before on the show, but Nolan and I have actually put together what we refer to as the Ultimate Estate Planning Guide. And there are plenty of these guides out there, right? If you talk to your attorney about this, he's going to have a 10, 15-page planning guide that you're going to fill out all of these lines, with all of the different options. But what Nolan and I did was we took that a step further. And part of the reason why is because I've experienced this firsthand when my dad passed, and then actually I saw and witnessed when my grandmother passed, all of the headaches and heartache that can be brought into the dynamics when you don't have a plan put together. So one of the things, we have all of the basic stuff in the estate planning guide, the beneficiaries and the list of the accounts and things like that. But one of the things we did was we went a step further, and I said, let's put in there, kind of like if you move to a new city, what's the first thing you do is you go to most people, if you go to the Chamber of Commerce in that particular town, they're going to have a piece of paper put together, and some people actually, the real estate companies will have this too, and it's a list of the electric company and the phone number, the gas company and the phone number, the water company and the phone number, and things like that. Well, I kind of put that into our guide because when Dad passed, he had the direct TV cable bill was taken right off of a charge card that he had, and it was in his name. Well, when he passed, I wasn't on the account. My mom wasn't on the account. And these people refused to talk to either one of us. They said, you don't have authorization to take care of this. And we didn't know the account numbers. We didn't know passwords. So think of this. If you're the one that's taking care of the checkbook, if you're the one taking care of all of the bills, the cell phone bill, the electric bill, all of these have passwords. All of these have account numbers, emails. If you're getting emails and all of a sudden you pass, and if you're a business person, you're still getting emails sent there if it's something important, and if your wife or loved one doesn't know how to get into that email address and look at those emails, you could be missing out, or she or they could be missing out on some very important things. So, this is something that we take very seriously here. We've experienced it. The last thing you want to do is have a difficult discussion at Thanksgiving, because it causes a lot of problems if you don't have something put in place to actually make sure that everything is taken care of. Why don't you give us your point on this, Dave?
Well, we recently went through the loss of my wife's mother, my mother-in-law, and I will say this. We took care of her cell phone, so therefore, I went over to Verizon and canceled it.
Sure.
And you know what? Bringing up the things that you brought up, what would have happened if it would have been in her name? She had cable.
Sure.
I will say this. These things are all very real, but I think the most important thing about estate planning is to have a meaningful discussion with your loved ones and to make an effort to find out what it is they want.
Sure.
What they want to accomplish and where they want to see things go and to whom. But all of these things, having the right powers of attorney, having the right, having a person on a bank account to be able to go in and deal with the credit card, that's so important. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't have these things, and it's valuable decisions, valuable discussion topics that need to be have.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, and I find that the hardest thing is a lot of people refuse to talk about it. They just don't want to talk about, end of life. I mean, my mother being one of them. She doesn't want anything to do with it. She don't want to talk about it, right? Well, I'm sorry, but things are going to happen, And one of the things that we've actually done here at the office is, I know Troy's been on the show before. We've actually tasked him with working with people on their prepaid funeral. So getting things put in place while you're able to make those decisions is a lot easier than to have somebody else make them for you. Granted, you're not going to be here, but if they know what you want, it takes the guesswork out of it. And when you get in the situation where you're in a room with siblings, and that can be very, very daunting, and because I can guarantee you're not all going to agree on what you thought mom wanted or dad wanted. So it's important to get things put together prior to that while you're able to make those decisions. And there again, I guess when you look at it, addressing it at Valentine's Day for the loved ones that you have is the perfect way to show them that I'm not going to leave you with this burden, and let's move forward.
We hear so many stories out there about celebrities whose estate is in disarray. Prince, Michael Jackson, James Brown, of course. We hear about them not just because, we hear about them because they're famous. And here's the thing, is that it happens every single day to people like you and me who aren't in the public spotlight, and it can be avoided with a little bit of preparation. You don't have to be, like we talked about with Kevin O'Leary earlier, you don't have to be, a multimillionaire to need estate planning, but it can avoid a lot of headaches and quite frankly, heartache down the line just with a little bit of preparation. This Ultimate Estate Planning Guide, something the team at America's Retirement Headquarters has prepared to help walk you through the steps and make it as hopefully as painless as possible, so you can take advantage of that, get a copy of that, and begin the planning process by reaching out 419-794-3030. Once again, that's 419-794-3030.